And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
KO! Here's the cover.
Hey, what's up everyone, and we're back today with another video. Hopefully trying to get a few more out before I leave for about 10 days, starting Wednesday, but we're not there yet. So today, if you may have followed me on Twitter, I posted this game a few days ago, and it's probably the best game I've ever had in the Draugen, at least stats-wise. So, it's quite the treat, I would say, regardless of the whole update nonsense, which I'm not going to cover, because I already have covered it. And if you want even more coverage on that, I'll just link Petty's video, which is an hour and a half long, and way more in-depth than I would ever plan to go into. So, getting off that topic, what are we on? We're on Canis, with pretty terrible matchmaking. We're actually +2, which is not ideal, but we're still going to get our kind of normal position that we've always gone on this standard battle. And that's this little ridgeline right here, where you can kind of control the sight line of people crossing up, and sure enough, we get the spot on 3 of their tanks crossing, get a shot into the defender with a nice little high roll of 415. But this position also lets you shoot to my left too if the tanks start pushing through the middle. So it's a pretty strong position, I think. And I've covered it in other videos, but yeah. So far, not much in the way of shots available to us. This game's going to start a little bit slow. It's kind of like the LTTB game. It starts off a bit slow. Not as slow as that one, but just being a little bit patient, because again, we are -2 in this situation, so we don't really, we're not really the big dog on campus, I guess. So, got to play a little bit more passively, a little bit more of a support role, at least until the end game. Then we'll just put on the big boy pants and try to carry. But we'll get there when we get there, and we spot another defender actually in the open. Their Inferno's crossing. We unfortunately were distracted by the defender, and so we don't get a shot into the Inferno, but now we have a medium tank on my flank. So I back off a little bit, because I'm thinking maybe he saw me, which he was looking this way, and he's going to try to get a shot into me. So just being a bit cautious here, because I know I have tanks down to my right now that can get shots into me. As soon as tanks start pushing up on that flank, this position can kind of become pretty weak. So you have to keep them in front of you for this position to really mean something, I find. Otherwise, you just get sat up in a crossfire and wrecked, and there's just no point in staying here. And so, but at the moment, it doesn't look like that's happening. They're just kind of sat back there, focusing on the 4 or 5 tanks that we have set on the sniper hill, as per usual. That always happens. And right now, our team is actually losing tanks at a pretty not great rate. We've already lost 2, but we did just take out one of theirs in the town, it looks like, or actually that may have been the Inferno. I don't know. But at least some of the changes have happened. This game was actually before the line of sight fix that occurred, and any changes that have occurred today after the next patch notes. And here I was going to push in, be a little bit aggressive, since I didn't see anything in the town. But I kind of thought better of that, because they have a few TDs, and also spotting 3 heavy tanks. I don't really have the DPM armor or anything like that to even deal with that, especially if they're tier 10s. And this was before the line of sight fix, where you couldn't tell what they were. So I have no idea at the time what that was. But it turns out one of them is a KV4, which I will happily put a shot into, and I'm not too afraid of. And now, at this point, I was like, okay, and now I'm getting spotted, so this should be an indication to pull back, and we do take our first hit of the game. I wasn't sure of what it was at the time, and it definitely wasn't Shashka or SU-130. It's something else with very low health, as he actually puts another shot into me. And right now I'm actually looking, and I'm pretty sure that's actually the Atomic. So there is another medium tank back there that we can't quite see. Maybe if we were looking down line of sight, we could have seen the tracers, but that's not the case. And now I'm starting to notice that we have lost the other flank pretty badly. And I'm trying to stay away from just staying on the one flank, trying to be a little more proactive. Because so far we've only done about 2k combined, which is okay for a tier 10 game and a tier 8. at least most tier 8s, but the Draugen's kind of a special one. It's capable of hitting way above its tier. As we get a pretty filthy snapshot there on the Sergeant Slaughter, or T-54E2 Renegade. So some of you may know, actually, that we're getting this tank, quote-unquote, for free. Over the next coming 2 weeks, they've kind of announced an earn-up for this tank, which is nice for you all. If you haven't picked this thing up, highly suggest it. But now we're dealing with a lot of tanks just pushing through the center right now at me, including one of the new tanks, the 268 version 5, which has 850 alpha, and he doesn't look like he's going to stop. We're going to put one shot into him. We back up, trying to lead him my way. We know he has slow turret traverse. We go pulling forward, get him to go forward. Put one shot into him, and the teammate finishes him off, which is nice, but we eat a shot from the Companza 50T, unfortunately, and now we're down to about less than half health. And I know there's a lot of tanks up on this center area, and I'm feeling kind of alone. I know I have some support from tanks up on the hill, and right now the only one that's really focusing me is this Kampfpanzer. But now I see a TD pop up on my left, but thankfully that TD is not going to push because there's tanks up on the ridgeline, and unfortunately we eat a shot without actually penning a shot on the 50T. And right now this is not a good situation for me at all. If it already isn't obvious, I'm kind of not panicking. We get a nice bounce. Both of us bounce, unfortunately. He gets smacked around by the Artie. And right now we are just trying to control this engagement, even though this is very, very much hit or miss. We're losing tanks just left and right here at this point. And now I'm just going to chase the Kampfpanzer, finish him off as he bounces into the courts of the 268-5. And now we're just going to get the hell out. That area is way, way too hot for me to stay in. We're just going to try to get out of here and get to a better position and a further distance so we can kind of keep the distance rather than brawling on 400 health in a paper tank. And we snap one into the, what is that? The Atomic Centurion. There's so many Centurion variants. There really are. As we drive by, kind of lucky. This thing doesn't have the best on-the-move accuracy, but since the changes, it's a bit better. Mostly every tank is better accuracy-wise. So we can get away with that slightly more reliably. So at this point, we're just kind of seeing if we can find any shots on their tanks pushing from the town. And I didn't really realize that Shoshka was still alive. And we actually run right into this guy, which isn't fantastic because he's on way more health, but he seems very tunnel visioned. So we're able to put 2 shots in him without him even noticing that where he's getting shot from. And I was more worried about, at this point, not him so much as the 2 Artie in the game hitting me, because of the changes to the Artie with the aim time, which basically makes them aim in super, super quick for some reason. Hopefully that's a bug that gets fixed. But now I see on the mini-map I have a heavy tank coming right at me. So I gotta try to figure a way out of here, because I don't want to just brawl with, I believe, what's a Defender, which has 440 alpha, and even with the reduced RNG that's now in the game in terms of high rolls versus low rolls, and generally you will roll lower. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. So as much as I want to help my heavy tank that is still alive, unfortunately, I don't really have the time to do that without totally throwing this game away. So he gets taken out, but he does take out the Jaeger that was a one-shot, so it's one less tank for me to deal with. But once again, we find ourselves in a 1 versus 4 against a Waffle, 2 Artie, and a Defender. Not the hardest 1v4 to pull off necessarily, but still against 4 tanks. 2 of them Artie, but we do spot the GW E100. Unfortunately, I actually could spot it. I wasn't really betting on him spotting me, if I'm honest. And we're going to try to aim in again, and he does get taken out. And luckily, we again, RNG is in our corner of this game, it seems. Their other Artie, his platoon mate, misses, which is kind of surprising. But that's very good for us, because now we know we have the time to kind of go in here and hopefully finish him off with a Hesh round. Just make sure we hit the part of the GWE 100 that we can actually pen with the Hesh round. And sure enough, there we go. Aim for that side, and sure enough, it goes right through for 493. And it looks like we may have killed some crew members because he's not turning too hot. And now he's getting behind him. Make sure we aim for the actual superstructure so it doesn't get absorbed by any space armor or anything like that. Still unlucky with the Hesh, but that's okay. We're just double and triple checking, basically. Not rushing the shots. So now we've eliminated the RNG slot machines from the game, and now we only have to deal with their actual tanks that are left. So at this point, I know the defender is pretty healthy. I have no idea what the Waffle is on. I do know that I'm in a tank that's very capable of dealing with a Waffle as long as I keep him at range or have some sort of cover in between me and him. I just don't want to get caught out in the open. And also at this point, I'm trying to guess that it's probably the Waffle in the base. And I'm going this way because I was expecting the defender to be coming across the field from where he last was. And just basing off of all that information, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Waffle in the cap. So I'm going to try to be kind of sneaky here. I'd like to be on the sniper hill, if I'm all honest. But that position isn't going to be available to me, at least initially. So we're going to have to go kind of a roundabout way. We may spot him on the way through. Hopefully he doesn't spot me. That's kind of the bet. Because I know where the cap circle is, and it's right in the center of that little field in front of the sniper hill on this spawn. So right now we're just kind of going back to where we actually initially spawned at, and use a bunch of these ridge lines and different little sniper positions to see if we can't poke out. But unfortunately, we do spot the Waffle, but we are able to dump a Hesh shell into him on our way. Luckily, he wasn't looking our way. But now he knows where we're at, and we're not to where I want to be necessarily. So the best play for the Waffle at this point would probably be to just charge back here and come after me, because he's still on enough health to just kind of eat a shot or two. And unfortunately for me, I should say, he's not going to do that. He's going to just sit on the cap and wait for me, which isn't the best play. And sure enough, we also spot the defender coming to join him. So we know where both their tanks are accounted for now. They don't know where I'm at the moment. Then we get spotted by the Waffle, and again, he's looking the opposite direction. We dump another Hesh shell into his turret. Not the best damage roll there at all. And right now, this is the better situation where I want to be. I'm behind a ridgeline, looking for the shot on the Waffle. I know the defender just fired, so I can pull out a little bit. I aim for the defender's cupola, and it does go through and hits it for 420. So now I could possibly even splash him. So now my focus. Now my focus is going to be on taking out the defender, who's an easy one-shot. And there we go. We have some bush guard between me and him with this tree. I do like that now the bush mechanics seem to be they actually work very consistently. At least I find that. It's been kind of a positive for me based on the tanks I play. And now I know the Waffle is coming around the side to hunt me. Damn, my voice is cracking today. I'm actually 14 years old. But besides taking the piss on myself, now we're able to push up onto the hill and get to the position I really want to be in, and just take that high ground that is so important almost all the time, especially in situations like this where you're facing a tank that's a little bit awkward to play if you're not fighting on your own terms, I guess. With the Waffle, it's very much a tank that thrives on surprising players or keeping the engagement at range, or feasting on players that are distracted, much less so than being proactive, like the medium tank here I'm in. Even though I'm in a tier 8, I'm in a very powerful tier 8, and we pull back, we spot the Waffle, but we don't really have a shot. It's a slim one, and that was never really going to go through, if I'm at all honest. And now we only have about a minute 30 left, and I don't feel like this Waffle is gonna poke out and round this corner at me. And even if he does, he may get shot once and then pull back. And at this point I was like, okay, I'm going to wait a couple more seconds, and then I'm going to go back down to that position where I'm at and try to see if I can't poke around that corner. And right now we're just going for it. It would be awful right now with the Waffle poked out, but you got to take gambles sometime, and right now is one of those times. We only have 57 seconds left in this game, so we only have about like a couple more shells to fire with the reloaded on the Draugen, and that's not taken into account actually driving over here. And sure enough, we play our cards right, spot the waffle, dump a shell into him, get that nice hash pen, doesn't hit the gun, and now we're just controlling this engagement over the ridgeline. And he's kind of an awkward spot because I can see his turret before he can actually see mine. Try to snap another one in. Unfortunately, we missed that one. Kind of rush it. We don't want to really expose ourselves too long. He's going to go below the ridgeline on, trying to get the flank, I suppose. We don't go ahead the reload to snap there. We pull forward again and finish him off for the 1 versus 4 finish. And another very, very nice game. 6,300 damage. About nearly 2k assisted as well. 2,900 base XP. 6 kills for the Top Gun. And just an overall fantastic game. And a lot of fun to play, honestly, regardless of all of the drama right now. I'm just happy to have a little bit of fun, regardless, because there's worse things going on in the world. Be truthful. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you all next time. See you. Peace.